Now these gas particles which are away from each other, I have kept a piston over here, okay, and I apply the pressure on this. When I apply the pressure and at the same time I keep the temperature low, what will happen? Moment particles come closer, they will, because they come closer, what will happen? They will collide with each other. That means they will rub against each other. Now rubbing will happen what? During compression. Means when I come closer, when I bring the particles closer, जैसे बहुत भीड़ में जब लोग सामने आ जाते हैं एक दूसरे को, तो क्या होता है? रब हो जाते हैं ना against one another, they start rubbing each other and then there is a chaotic kind of thing. एक दूसरे को गुस्सा करने लगते हैं, अरे why you are actually pushing me? This happens in the school normally with kids, smaller kids. ठीक है कि नहीं? Because there are a lot of Russians, narrow passage is there. तो ये passage एकदम narrow कर दिया है, देखिए. Application of pressure. So naturally it will be rubbing against each other. But what the teacher actually, or we keep the outside condition low. That means let us say ice cold condition रखा है. इसके बाहर कुछ ice pieces रख दिया है. So temperature is low. Okay, when the temperature is low, what happens? These particles, their energy is withdrawn and they become what? Cool. And finally what? They attract each other. Instead of repelling, they attract each other. As a result, what will happen? Okay, when they attract each other, they become liquid. The application of pressure. Same thing happens over here. LPG, आपको मालूम है जो liquefied petroleum gas, वो जो gas है वो liquefied form में अपने cylinder. मालूम है ना? Yes or no? Compressed gas. Now there is a pipe over here, and this pipe is actually connected to a gas stove. There is a knob over here as well as a knob over here. Now what I do, I release the pressure. Then what happens? Gas comes out. Have you heard the sound? Sometimes when you open that knob, okay, you find some kind of gas coming out. Or when you open this knob, you find gases are coming out. Okay, and the moment you light up, it undergoes a formation of what? Flame, combustion. Right? But what is happening as you release the pressure? This particular liquefied gas or liquid form of that gas converts into what? Into gas, because of pressure has been reduced. Na? Pressure has been reduced means what? We have opened the knob. तो ये gate open कर दिया तो क्या होगा? ये जो अंदर का जो pressure है, वो क्या हो जाएगा? कम हो जाएगा ना? Particles आराम से जाएंगे. और बाहर से भी particles अंदर आएंगे, gas के. और अगर बाहर का temperature, if I make it lower, what will happen? It will get liquefied. Likewise, if you have a solid carbon dioxide, this is of course real everyday life situation. Okay, like solid carbon dioxide, which is also called dry ice. The moment you release the pressure, decrease the pressure. Okay, a short form तुमको यहाँ पे मैं पूरा लिख देता हूँ. On decreasing the pressure, क्या हो जाएगा children? ये जो gas particles compact state में थे, in the solid form, they start, because the pressure has been released, what will happen? They will fly away from each other. And therefore, what will happen? This solid carbon dioxide converts into gaseous carbon dioxide without passing into liquid. Why? So much of pressure was there. And they directly go into the gaseous state because in the liquid state they will be again unstable. So on releasing the pressure, solid carbon dioxide changes into gaseous carbon dioxide. Yes or no? Pressure. आपको अगर simple thing, अगर आपको pressure, if you increase the pressure, children, what will happen? If pressure is increased, what is the conclusion? Arman, if pressure is increased on the gas, keeping the temperature low, okay, the gas will change into liquid. If pressure, okay, is decreased, okay, on a liquid, क्या हो जाएगा चिल्ड्रन? गैस नहीं, लिक्विड गैस. वेरी गुड. अगर आप देखो लिक्विड से गैस में कन्वर्ट करना तो प्रेशर आपको डिक्रीज करना, लिक्विड टू गैस, और गैस टू लिक्विड मींस प्रेशर इंक्रीज करना. बस सिंपल थिंग, चेंज ऑफ प्रेशर on the states of matter. That means this effect is maximum felt on liquids and gases. Solids के ऊपर प्रेशर नहीं है. ये देखो सॉलिड के ऊपर क्या प्रेशर है? ऑलरेडी प्रेशराइज फॉर्म में. सॉलिड के ऊपर प्रेशर का इफेक्ट नेग्लिजिबल. रिमेंबर, लेट्स स्टार्ट. लिख लिया आपने? लिख लीजिए। हाँ डायग्राम में सब लिखना है, देखिए यहाँ से यहाँ तक और ये पूरा
ये वो भी
हाँ डेफिनेटली ये जो सिलेंडर आपने बनाया है बिकॉज यू रिमेम्बर ना ओके ऐसे एक रफ स्क्रिबल कीजिए बिकॉज ये सब ऐसे ही थोड़ा सा बताया है बिकॉज व्हेन यू थिंक अबाउट यू नो टुमारो in the presence of your parents suppose कोई gas mop open कर रहा है then you can arrange look pressure is released I see the gas is coming out and then you are lighting it up so you come to and now it's your worst mode you want to stop that gas what will happen again pressure is applied by closing the stopper closing the knob so you come to at least basic thing Okay. Now let us come to the next one, that is concept of evaporation. Okay. Okay, सबका देखो आराम से हाँ दो आराम से हो गया सबका हो गया okay now children let us come to the final part of the topic then activities are there okay then question and answer okay let's see this evaporation concept what is evaporation let us understand okay evaporation is actually what process of converting a liquid into gas at any temperature. When it happens at one particular temperature, which is nothing but what its boiling points, उसको evaporation के नया नाम रहेगा boiling point. But if it is taking place at ordinary room temperature, at any temperature means it takes place at any condition. So let us take for example here, I've got a container, okay, and this is something which is actually what the particles which are there on the surface, liquid, okay, the liquid मैंने लिया, suppose water. So what actually happens? These particles which are there on the surface, children, ये जो surface पे particles है, इन लोगों का kinetic energy with respect to the molecules which are inside in the bulk. Kinetic energy means the energy. It's a type of energy we can say. Okay? The kinetic energy is more than the particles which are inside in the bulk. So what they tend to do, under this ordinary condition, they start converting, they start breaking the attractive force, they start moving up. And this process of particles from liquid state, from the surface, it's a surface phenomenon. It's surface by surface होता है, layer by layer होता है, ठीक है? Now at a given temperature, whatever given temperature is there, कोई भी temperature पे ये process होगा. So this temperature, this particular property, that is actually movement of the, for example, liquid particles into the vapor form or gaseous form at any temperature, okay, is because movement depends upon what temperature, because it is a kinetic property. कोई भी चीज temperature के ऊपर depend करेगा means वो kinetic property है, ठीक है? और जब particles ऊपर चले जाएंगे, सब वो सब पूरा layer ये हो गया, चला गया vapor form, तो अभी second layer start होगा, yes or no? Have you ever seen, for example, suppose some people are having fish tank or some, for example, water, some kind of ornamental piece in which water is kept. So can you tell me, for example, after a few days, suppose you have got a glass or something, glass, transparent glass, you have kept some water. First day you found this level of water over here. Second day, level has come over here. Why? Because the particles over here has evaporated. Yes or no? आपको level दिखाई देगा वहाँ पे. Like fish tank, you must have seen the fish tank. Level of water in the first day is up till here. then you find, for example, the fish is actually what normally, for example, whatever food you supply, you find that the fish tank, the water becomes little bit dirty. So uska level यहाँ पे दिखाई देगा. Okay, like marking you will find. That means that evaporation is a process which is comparatively what? A slow process. Why? It is happening layer by layer. There's no need to heat. Okay, this process of conversion of liquid into vapor or a gas at a given temperature or at any temperature is called as what? It's called as evaporation. Okay? It depends upon what? Basically, it is a surface phenomenon. Children, यानी ये किसके ऊपर depend करेगा? Surface. Okay, that means here, what are the actually what factors which affect this particular phenomenon? The first factor is what? It depends upon the surface area. Yes or no? The surface area. Why actually what? For example, the wet clothes are actually what spread out and actually what kept for drying. Because if the wet clothes are actually what spread out, surface area is more, evaporation is more. So surface area, okay, is more. Surface area, if it is more, then evaporation is more. Right now? Likewise, suppose mother has given a hot cup of, let us say, milk in the, let us say, glass. Now you are actually what? Getting late for school. What do? And you have to ensure, mother is ensuring that you have to finish the milk. Clear? So what do? You put in the saucer. Saucer is having what? More surface area. Yes or no? Surface area ज़्यादा है ना? And then you have actually what? थोड़ा सा उसको blow करो. So जो ऊपर जो first layer है, where it's having large amount of kinetic energy, will evaporate. And then you drink it very carefully. So you will not feel that, for example, hotness. Am I right? So that means surface area जितना ज़्यादा रहेगा उतना evaporation is more. Second is what? Wind speed, children. Yes or no? If wind speed is more, or the speed of the wind is high, what will happen? Evaporation is high. At the same time, third is humidity. This thing, like for example, it's a cloudy day and you have a lot of moisture in the air. Are the clothes going to dry faster? No. Why? Because the humidity is there. So definitely higher humidity, lower evaporation. Because the air becomes saturated with the vapor. Okay? So that means surface area, wind speed, humidity. At the same time, what is important over here? Temperature. In summer, the clothes they get dry faster. Why? Because temperature is high. In winter, because of moisture and temperature is lower, what happens? The evaporation is slower. Evaporation takes place, but it's slower. So temperature is directly proportional to evaporation. Humidity is inversely proportional to evaporation. Wind speed is directly proportional to evaporation. Surface area directly proportional. ये चार factors आपको याद. ठीक है? देखिए. Then we'll start reading the topic. ठीक है? Right from the first, because some of you, okay, could not attend the first lecture. तो हम लोग क्या करेंगे? थोड़ा topic read करेंगे. Because if I have missed out anything, or you have missed out, or you have some doubt, then you can clarify. Isn't it? Then don't hesitate to ask any doubt. Don't be doubt among the smallest to smallest, biggest to biggest you can ask. So what you will do? When mother gives you hot milk, you have to pour into the saucer, but ensure that you have to drink it because that will give you the energy, okay, for whole day. गया मन?
Yes, sir. ये बना
देखिए
So ये डायग्राम बनाना है क्या?
ये डायग्राम मैंने ऐसे था अब इधर आ डॉटेड मार्क्स इनिशियल लेवल फाइनल yes or no यहाँ पे हम लोगों को पहले ही पढ़ना है एरो अलग अलग बना दिया
सर वो क्या है काइनली भी
काइनेटिक एनर्जी इज मोर
काइनेटिक है
हाँ एक मिनट वापस लिख देता हूँ दिख रहा है ना
हाँ देखो
अरे तू ज्योति पे छोड़ दो whatever we had mentioned earlier तो लिख ले so right now as in when you get time 5 minutes early you come or in between the break you can write or take the image and write at home okay right you present na last time open your volume children let us see the Maisha please read out the reproduction part हाँ क्या चीज
नहीं
हाँ बोलिए
Everything in the universe is made up of material, which scientists have named matter. Everything is matter. As we look around, all the things occupy space and have mass. In other words, we have both mass and volume. Early Indian philosophers classified matter in the form of 5 basic elements: the Panchatattva,
yes
air, earth, fire, sky, and water. Modern day scientists has evolved 2 types of classification of matter based on their physical properties and chemical nature.
very good प्रमाण पढ़िए
सेम
नहीं आगे सबको रीडिंग स्किल also is important ना
physical nature of matter. Matter is made up of particles. Particles of matter are small. There are millions of tiny particles in just one crystals of a substance, which keep on dividing themselves into smaller and smaller particles. Characteristics of particles of matter. Particles of matter have spaces between them. Particles of one type of matter get into the space between particles of the other. This shows that there is enough space between particles of matter. However, the original level of the liquid does not rise. Particles of matters are continuously moving.
yes continuously moving especially in the case of gases and also liquids में थोड़ा movement है come then
Particles of matter are continuously moving. That is, they possess what we call kinetic energy. As the temperature rises, particles move faster. So, with increase in temperature, the kinetic energy of the particles also
increases yes चलो next one पढ़िए Anirudh
Particles have interparticle spaces.
Well-
Particles of matter intermix on their own with each other.
yes
They do so by getting into the spaces between the particles.
yeah this is called diffusion isn't it पढ़िए
This intermixing of particles of 2 different types of matter on their own is called diffusion.
Yes.
On heating, diffusion becomes
or
faster.
sizzling samosas when mother is making in the kitchen and you are sitting in the drawing room suppose do you get the smell or the fragrance or the good smell that somebody is that something good is actually being cooked in the why because the kinetic energy is higher because it's hot, na? Likewise, a cold samosa अगर आप रखा है, so you have to go near to get that smell. Yes or no? Why? Because the kinetic energy of the particles is less.
Yeah.
Bring out.
Particles of matter attract each other. Particles of matter have force acting between them. This force keeps the particles together. The strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to another.
Yes, very good. चलो, आर्य पढ़िए.
States of matter. Matter just exist in three different states: solid, liquid, and gas. These states of matter arise due to the variation in the characteristics of the particles of matter. The solid state. Solid have a definite state, distinct boundaries, and fixed volume.
Fixed volume. Very good. Next.
That is, they have a negligible compressibility.
Yes.
They have a tendency to maintain their shape when subjected to outside force and may break under the force, but it is difficult to change their shape, so they are rigid.
Yes, Richard. Next one. पढ़िए.
The
Aryan
liquid-
पढ़िए. Aryan is remaining. Wait, sit down.
The
Last.
liquid state. The liquids have no fixed shape but have a fixed volume.
Very good.
They take up the shape of the container in which they are kept.
Yes.
Liquids flow and change shape, so they are not rigid but can be called fluid. Solids and liquids can diffuse into liquids.
Yeah.
The gases from the atmosphere diffuse and dissolve in water. These gases, especially oxygen and carbon dioxide, are essential for the survival of the aquatic animals and plants.
Yes.
The aquatic animals can breathe underwater due to the presence of dissolved oxygen in water. Thus,
Yes.
we may conclude that solids, liquids, and gases can diffuse into liquids.
Yes.
The rate of diffusion of liquid is higher than that of solid. This is due to the fact that in the liquid state, particles move freely and have greater space between each
Yes.
other as compared to particles
जितना
in the
interparticle space होगा उतना they can move.
Movements are.
But in the case of solid, it is slightly less. Okay. Next time we'll continue reading. Then we'll go for the activities and the questions. ठीक है ना? Okay. Thank you very much. Relax करो. Then we'll discuss next time. The homework will be reading the further part of this topic till evaporation. ठीक है? Write down homework in your notebook. Next time we'll go for the question and answers. And this time I will give you some questions. Okay?
So we have to read those.
I only read that till evaporation. Thank you.